Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, it's recently been announced that Conor McGregor is being sued by longtime friend Artem Lobov over the Proper 12 whiskey deal. Artem wants 5% of the $600 million McGregor has received. MMA media sources confirm the news. Just in, Conor McGregor is being sued by Artem Lobov over a Euro deal for Proper 12. Lobov alleges he came up with the idea and was instrumental in developing the brand. Lobov believes he's entitled to 5% of the proceeds McGregor got from the sale of the brand. Here's a clip of Artem talking about Proper 12.
Few people know it, but this was actually my idea. I was the person that came up with the idea to do whiskey for Conor.
Javier Mendez discusses if Khabib's family and team are taking over MMA in a fashion similar to what the Gracies once did. Here's what Mendez had to say in a recent interview.
You go back long enough to remember when the Gracies ruled certainly jiu-jitsu and their transition to MMA, they were so dominant. You had Hanzo, you had Hoist, you had a lot of the early, Hoyler was outstanding in the beginning. A lot of people talking about the Nurmagomedov family kind of being like the Gracies, but of modern MMA. How do you feel about that comparison?
It's a huge honor. I mean, think about it. If the people are really comparing us to the legacy of the greatness of what the Gracies did, I mean, we're all here because of the Gracies. Let's not forget that. We're all here because of everything they visualized, everything that they saw. And let's face it, if it was just comes back down to only one single art, they're still going to reign. They're still going to, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is still Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It's going to be number one, man. In my book, how can I say otherwise? It's been proven. You have to mix the arts to be able to beat what they have. And if you just take one single art, I'm sorry, but to me, it's the best art. I mean, you can have the greatest wrestler, and yeah, he'll take you down, but what is he going to do with it? He's not going to understand the submissions. So he'll get submitted like what happened with the great ones before. They tried it just on pure wrestling. You can't. You have to know jiu-jitsu, in order to deal with jiu-jitsu.
Renato Moicano continues to call out Conor McGregor via social media. Moicano recently posed for social media with an RPG pointed at the head of McGregor. Do you guys think Moicano will get the money fight? Let us know in the comment section below. Chael Sonnen had this to say about a potential matchup between Jorge Masvidal and Gilbert Burns. Here's the clip.
Gilbert Burns versus George Masvidal. Now, that's a hard fight to make, in my opinion. They're going to get met with resistance. And the math on it is pretty clear. That's a super hard match. The more popular guy is not the favorite. When the more popular guy is the favorite over a fight that the fans want and both guys are willing to do, it's an easy fight to make. When the more popular guy is not it's a harder fight to make. Masvidal was offered that fight, said no, and there was a reason. There was an injury. Masvidal's real belief for doing that was Leon had just become world champion, and Masvidal thought three-piece in a this may have an opportunity. I must keep my dance card open. But Leon is the one that has restoked this by saying, Masvidal, if you'd like to get to me, you have my blessing. Go through him, which is Burns. Like to know if you had the power, right? Hand you the magic wand. What do you think about those two? Gilbert Masvidal, we in?
Henry Cejudo talks about the heavyweight division and says a fight against Curtis Blaydes for John Jones is easy money.
John Jones, Francis Ngannou, Stipe Miocic. These are the only guys that are really keeping that heavyweight division even alive, where we've never really seen a mega blockbuster heavyweight fight since the Brock Lesnar days. The reason why I bring that up is because if you're not going to fight, then just retire, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not, I would prefer some sort of entertainment where you're gonna be able to entertain people, whether it's talking smack, whether it's keeping people engaged. But if that's not your style, and if you don't want to fight, just, make it easy for the rest of the division so they can allow themselves to kind of move on. Because now we're talking about John Jones versus Curtis Blaydes. I mean, that's with all due respect to Curtis Blaydes, that's a great fight. That's easy money for John Jones. John Jones is a better wrestler. John Jones is a better striker. John Jones might even be heavier than this guy. John Jones, when he was out here in Arizona, he was pushing close to about 250. And I'm talking about 250 nice and yoked, and you can still see that there's weight to be put on. There's talks, there's potential fights with Curtis Blaydes. How does that fight end up? I think it's easy money for John. I think like I said before, I think the time off that he's had has only helped him to rejuvenate, to spark that fire once again.
Khamzat Chimaev takes to social media to roast Alex Pereira again. After Khamzat posted a picture taking a jab at Pereira receiving his brown belt, Khamzat then went on to post another picture saying, "Alex Pereira, different level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu," followed by numerous laughing emojis. Jiri Prochazka has pulled out of UFC 282 and vacated the UFC light heavyweight belt following an injury that may keep him out for up to a year. Here's what Jiri had to say in a recent social media post.
Hello everyone. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for your messages. I have to say sorry to Glover. I canceled that fight too so short to fight, and that's life. So congratulations to Ankalaev and Blachowicz for a title chance. But still, I feel like a champion, and after I will be back, I will come for that title and more, because my targets are higher than just a title. I'll be back. Thank you. Thank you for your messages. Mastery, victory.
Here's a little more clarity on what kind of injury Jiri suffered.
A little bit more detail here from Simpson saying, you know how shoulders are. Basically, it pops out, and a lot of the time you pop it back in. There was a weight, and it popped back out. You never really know with a shoulder until you dig into it. Prochazka suffered a very severe shoulder joint dislocation, which in and of itself is a very common injury that we'll see in combat sports, especially with grappling and wrestling. But the fact that Dana White is saying it's the worst the UFC doctors have ever seen is definitely on the extreme end of that injury, and not something that I would have necessarily expected, especially in just of a training scenario. To me, that implies this goes beyond just the standard labrum tear that you have with a dislocation. The muscles and tendons of the rotator cuff. There's 4, and they basically wrap around the head of the humerus, or the ball of the shoulder socket, to help control its movement and sort of stabilize the shoulder up against the socket called the clinoid. It's very uncommon for somebody who's young to have a rotator cuff tear when the shoulder dislocates, but when you get older, a rotator cuff tear is more likely.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.